Good evening, everybody. It's past 12, and we're back with Exmortis 2. And this game was released to maybe 2 years after the first one, which I think the first one I had said it was 2004. This one came out in 2006. Yeah, so this is its successor. Apparently, it's supposed to be 100 times better and improved on every aspect that made the first one. I mean, the first one was already fucking good, but there was some minor things, I guess, that nobody liked, and this was improved upon, supposedly. So let's take a look. What that is, I am not sure. Maybe they cut down the reading, because there was a lot of reading to do in the first one, so that would be nice. I guess we'll find out. Let's do it. So, Exmortis 2 facts. Turn the lights down and the sound up for maximum atmosphere. Some sounds used in this game were obtained from actual EVP recordings. Some images within this game were taken from real haunted locations around Australia. While the story stands on its own, certain elements from the original game are referred to within. Please visit newgrounds.com to refresh your memory. Certain scenes are very CPU intensive. Full screen mode is not recommended above resolutions of 800 by 600. Due to graphic content and profanity, this title is not recommended for children. Alright, Exmortis 2. Let's see what we got. So in the first one, we woke up in the middle of the woods and we decided to take shelter inside an abandoned building in the middle of the woods, and we came across a crazy cult. And well, we thought we came across a cult. Turns out that we were part of the crazy cult, and we were trying to bring back fucking demon LeFew or whatever, Mayflew, I forgot his fucking name, some along that shit. And it turns out we were the fucking killer that murdered 5 campers to bring him back to life, and that is how the first one ended. Is we unleashed a demon on Earth. Here we go. The hordes of Exmortis swept across the earth, a plague unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. In their final stand, a handful of mankind's last survivors stood their ground, defiant of their inevitable fate. And in those last moments as death took these brave souls, a stranger passing in the distance put his plans in motion. Where is your god now? You know what? It sounded more like a fucking Deadeye read that. Like, where is your god now? Okay, let's see what we got. This abandoned church was to be the resistance rendezvous point after the final stand against the Exmortis. This door leads inside. I only hope that beyond this darkness I will find some survivors of the battle with the Exmortis. The sky has been stained blood red since the Exmortis started systematically eradicating mankind from the face of the earth. The abandoned church was to be... okay. What else? So... the barren wasteland stretches in most directions as far as the eye can see. Sometimes I wonder if there's anything left to fight for. An old automobile is rather awkwardly parked next to the church. Wow, so we're in the middle of the war, huh? Hell's broken loose on Earth. Can we go anywhere else? No? Alright, so... let's go inside. Let's see. Oh, there's footsteps on the floor. Alright, so there's a demon walking down. Holy shit! There must be nothing left in here, but I am definitely not alone. It isn't of the Exmortis, though. I would be dead by now if it was. Excuse me? Okay, he went into the stand to go be forgiven of his sins. Each pew is covered in a thick layer of dust. There hasn't been a living thing in here for a very long time. Can I be the only survivor of the battle? The priest's pulpit stands at the head of the church. A large Bible sits atop, open to chapter Revelation's end of days. How appropriate. Okay. The statue of Christ looks over the room which was once filled with his faithful followers. What I see now is all that is left of them. All the windows in this church look like they were boarded up a long time ago to keep something out or to keep something in. Okay. The side of the booth is empty. Something or someone is clearly in the other booth. Alright, so let's go check it out. The confessional. This is the door to the confessional booth I am in. Now that I am in here, something seems to be holding the door shut. A statuette of the Christian Messiah hangs suspended on the wall in this booth. Not really an odd thing to see in a place of worship such as this. The window looks through to the other booth. Whoever's in the other booth is looking back at me. What could he want?
Mr. Hannay, please sit, for my time here is limited. I take it the battle didn't go as planned. An unfortunate inevitability, I'm afraid. Nevertheless, it has aided and allowed me the passage I required to make contact with you. The Exmortis know you're here, so I must be brief. All might seem lost to you in this dark hour, however, I am here to bring you hope when you have none. I have here with me a parchment which you will do well to read carefully. The knowledge within its pages will shed light on your path towards removing the scourge and allowing mortal man to begin rebuilding. I don't doubt that you are wondering if I am trustworthy or not. However, at this point, neither you nor the remaining fragments of humanity have anything left to forfeit. I'm afraid mankind's fate rests on your next course of action. For your sake, I hope you make the right choice.
Alright, whatever was in the next booth, it wasn't human. However, everything he spoke of made sense. I guess I really have no choice but to trust him for now. Yeah, because we're in the middle of shit fuck bum nowhere. So, the door now seems to be working okay. If the Exmortis really do know what I am here, or really do know that I am here, excuse me, I should be making a quick exit before they arrive. Alright, it's GTFO. This is that booth thing I was in. The door seems to be working now. Okay, a vile stench hangs in the air that was trapped by this enclosed booth. If I can't see the entity, at least time I'll know I can smell him coming. So he let a fat asshole rip in the booth for us to open it, huh? He just fucking bombed us. A pile of bound papers rests on the stool. This must be the parchment the entity implored I examine. Prophecy of the Hand. Oh boy. Let's go. One night I dreamed. A darkness once dormant, patiently waiting, was now emerging from the shadows. A light growing brighter from beyond a dark chasm, wrapping around a pillar stained with ancient symbols. Many millions of shrieks and screams engulfed me where I stood until I felt the burden rise up from the floor and it too consumed me. My soul ripped from my shell was flattened and became a pathway. It became a link between the ancient world and my reality. Unspeakable monstrosities crossed over and began devouring every living thing. And then a fiend of unspeakable size and malevolence looked at me and smiled as he crossed into my world. He introduced himself as the Ancient of Exmortis, Vlay. That's what his fucking name was. Bobby LaFlay. No, go back. I'm not done. I could see myself, a tattered, broken man, suddenly imbued with an insatiable power. I felt a sudden drive to destroy all that I knew and return it to all how it used to be before light and life. I saw myself become the hand of Exmortis. I saw what was and what is and what will be. I then saw a strange dagger plunge deep into me, a man holding it, a mere mortal. And something else is in the shadows. But then the darkness took me as I fell to my knees and the pathway crumbled, my soul lost forever. I don't dare to dream again for fear of what other horrors await. Imbued. I don't even know what the fuck I said. Property of Lokier Fields Ranch. Okay. Huh. So, what is this supposed to help us with? He gave us this fucking journal about how he felt about everything happening. Okay. So we're looking for a dagger is the only thing that I've got out of it so far. So man, this is like Evil Dead. Well, I mean, it is inspired by Evil Dead, so you know, they fucking looking for the Necronomicon, and then they're looking for the big ass dagger. I'm assuming we're doing the same shit. Alright, so Bobby LaFlay is out there somewhere. For those of you who don't know, Bobby LaFlay is like a fucking chef. At least I think that's his name. I'm pretty sure it's Bobby LaFlay. I don't even know why I remember this, but it just happened to come out. Alright, so let's go look for Bobby LaFlay. He's out there somewhere in the fucking desert, frying everybody up. Alright, so I heard someone like cough. This door leads back outside to the rear of the ranch. Running is not going to help. The Exmortis will be on me like a flash. I wouldn't last 30 seconds. Fuck, think, fool, think. Okay, I gotta get out. The houses on top of the hill have probably been abandoned long ago, or they're filled with corpses, just like I will be if I don't get as far away from here as possible. The house is... Okay, so I gotta go. Oh fuck, those fast moving clouds can only mean one thing. They're coming for me, and it's not for a chat. I don't have much time. Okay, take the car. The tracks on the ground indicate that this old rust bucket of a car still works. As old as it is, it will still need a key to start. I wish I knew how to hotwire thing. Oh, there it is. I'm trying to read it, but it's like... What? Okay, take it. Okay, well, I have the wire. You have nothing to say about it. Oh, there he is, Bobby LaFlay.
You are mine!
Dead by dawn. Play again from the start of the chapter. Well, I wasn't very much far in, but okay. Alright, I think I lost myself in my own fucking babble. So let's take it slow here. The tracks on the ground indicate that this old rust bucket of a car still works. As old as it is, it will still need a key to start. I wish I knew how to hotwire the thing, okay? An old rusted coat hanger appears to have been rigged up as the makeshift aerial for this old car. Okay. Can I drag and drop this? What does this do for me? Okay. It's not like... I'm like clicking. Is this like a key for the car? Why isn't it like not letting me go over there? Am I supposed to go back inside? Huh.
You are mine!
Okay, what am I missing here? Is there something in here that I missed? Is there like a fucking hidden key? Because what the fuck was all that about? Oh, there's a hole in the roof. The light pours into the church through a hole in the roof. Through it, I can see the crimson sky, which serves as a constant reminder of what has transpired. Okay, I don't care about any of that. I need, like, a key. Okay, so... They warned us, okay. Next. What is that fucking hook the dagger? Is that what it is? Okay, let's back out. Let's try this again. Okay, out we go. I should be leaving very quickly. Okay. So, can I move? Can I do anything else here? No. Okay, I'm clicking on it, but it's like... I do not understand. Okay, so what the fuck is it? What am I doing wrong here? Do I go inside the fucking house or something? Like, is there like a small door? I bet you it's some bullshit like that. It's like some small door I gotta fucking go in here, or the window, or the patio. I don't know. Okay, but I want this back. Give me that back. I'm about to look up a fucking guide. Oh, what? Since I've got key. Where the fuck were the keys? Okay, get out, get out, get out. I don't even know what just happened. I found keys on the fucking floor. Xavier's legacy. Okay, Lokier Fields Ranch. I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on right now. This is the Lokier Fields Ranch the document from the church led me to. What possible significance could this place have in the scheme of things? I like feel discombobulated right now because what the fuck was that? This is the Lokier Fields Ranch, the document. Okay, I just read that. Wait, the text looked different. No ominous, fast approaching clouds. It seems I managed to outrun the Exmortis. I'm sure that it won't take them too long to find me again, though. Yes, because you can outrun the sky. Alright, whatever. I'm over it. We're here. Okay. The picture frame fell off the wall when the door slammed shut behind me. Okay, a picture of fucking Tyler and Ben. Seems to be a very old picture of a man and a small girl, perhaps the previous occupant of this place. Excuse me. That's Tyler and Lindsay. I don't fucking know. The double set of doors leads into the adjacent hall. If my take on the place from outside is correct. Okay, downstairs court. There's someone there. Okay, the door at the end of the corridor seems to be unlocked, but it is being blocked from the other side by something. And then there's this. It appears to be a service hatch or some kind of air conditioning duct. Too dark to see anything in the shaft. I better not push forward without knowing where I'm going. Okay, yeah, let's back out. Okay, so we're gonna need like some sort of light or something. The door on the right of the corridor leads to another room. Fuck, that poor bastard had his eyes, arms, legs, and heart ripped from him. Only the Exmortis are capable of this kind of cruelty. The beam in the center of the room that the man hangs from doesn't even seem to be bowing slightly from the weight of his lifeless torso. Okay. Nice observation. In this fucking time. Okay. The set of shelves are littered with ornaments and various fine dining implements left by the former occupants of this house. This lamp used to serve a purpose, but now it's nothing but a mere reminder of a life and a luxury that I once had. So who are we again? One of those Sudoku puzzles sits on the table here. They used to be all the rage, but I never really got hooked. 3 inner squares of the puzzle are highlighted. What? Oh, we have to solve this? There's a fucking Sudoku puzzle in this game? Is this like mandatory? Can we just skip this? Why do we gotta do this? Why are we doing this? Okay, let's back out. I'll come back to that later if I really have to. I don't want to deal with that. I wonder to myself, what is more ghastly, the sight of this poor soul hanging here or the crimson sky I can see through this window? For the world to be ending and having these kinds of thoughts, he must just not give a fuck. A large amount of this man's blood pools beneath his lifeless hanging form. I curse under my breath the Exmortis for their inhuman brutality. Like the sense of urgency when the world is ending here. And we're just gonna ponder on, think about, you know, how the board's not fucking breaking on the torso. And we're probably gonna have enough time to solve a Sudoku puzzle, actually. The world's ending, but not Sudoku. We still got time for that. I would not want to spend my last dying breaths fucking playing that. The door to my immediate right leads to an adjacent room. Alright, let's check it out. Okay. A large splatter of gore seems to have hit the wall. The sheets on the bed are soaked with the blood of this poor woman. The naked female corpse on the bed here has a massive hole in her chest. Okay. The bedside table has a small drawer here. All it contains is a Bible. I'd take it with me if I was still a religious man. The lampshades on both sides of the bed are stained with blood. Pictures of local structures are hanging on the wall in here. Okay. Oh, there's a slightly worn and tattered diary in here. Exposition, let's do it. Alright, 28th of January. Well, I got digging around in this dusty old cellar today and I came across a whole heap of old leather-bound books with each and every page blank. So I thought to myself that I might as well put one of them to good use. I guess I got myself a new diary to use. It is quite remarkable how good the condition the books are in considering how old they look. It continually surprises me the amount of handy items I find in this place. I know this place has been under the care of my relatives for over 100 years, but you would think that in that time someone would have taken the time to go through all the old crap from the previous occupants of this place. In any case, the unpacking process is almost complete. It still seems a little weird that my wife, kids, and I are now living in old Uncle Charlie's ranch. It's been years since I've last set foot in this place before he passed on. Charlie and I never really got on so well, so it was certainly a surprise to find out that he left this place to me in his will. I wonder what he meant by only you can understand the ranch, and if you can at first, you will learn to. It certainly seems like a last little cryptic jab at me from beyond the grave. Yeah, it sounds like he had it out for you. He's fucking hid the Necronomicon in this fucking ranch. Anna's are we Ash? Hold on a second. We came to, I mean, Evil Dead is an abandoned fucking cabin in the middle of the woods. This is an abandoned, like, little ranch house in the middle of fucking shitfuck Courage the Cowardly Dog nowhere. And there's a Necronomicon buried underneath it. And we gotta find it and, like, fucking duke it out with it. Just like the Evil Dead. Alright. And the settling in okay. I had to do a hell of a lot of talking her around into moving away from the city. She wasn't going to go without a fight, but I think she's finally happy that she broke away from her dead-end job and is kind of looking forward to the simpler life out here in the sticks. Yeah, this is Evil Dead, but in country. The kids are always been keen for change, so it didn't take much coercion to make them see this as a fresh new start. I think the thought of having horses, cows, and chickens to look after made them forget that they will be rooming together for the first few weeks until I can get the rooms at the end of the hall emptied out, cleaned, and converted to top quality living quarters. Well, fuck. Well, I've got a lot of work ahead of me in the next few months, but I feel good. This is a good choice. A welcome change. I just hope Anna relaxes into her new home. January 30th. I got a fair amount of work done today. I finally finished the fencing around the southern field, but the oddest thing happened as I was finishing up. I had a strange compulsion to look back at the house, and I could have sworn that I saw someone watching me from behind the window in the room at the end of the hall. Anna and the kids were running out some errands, so that is why I make note of this as being odd. I just put it down as my eyes playing tricks on me. A full day of hard work under the hot sun can play tricks with your mind. Anna still seems a little standoffish about the move. She is still not 100% convinced that we are making the right move here. I told her to give it some time and that it will grow on her. Still, her stressful attitude is rubbing off on me. Okay. I snapped at Zoe today, in which is very unlike me. She ran off to her room crying, and I went up to apologize and explain that Daddy is a bit stressed with the move. She really didn't warrant my anger, and I felt bad about it for a while. She was all smiles after our little talk. The 6-year-old's mind is an enigma to me sometimes. Okay, so he got Barada neck-tooed, and he's now, like, dead-eyeting, it sounds like. Turning into dead-eyed. So, February 3rd, it's been a strange few days. We had an old picture of a man and a girl hanging up near the front door. I don't know who they are or what purpose Uncle Charlie had with such an old portrait in the house lobby, but I felt it was time for something a little more modern. I took down the portrait and mounted the family photo we had taken in the past Christmas. I threw that old portrait in the cellar with all the other old junk. I need to sort through and turn it for the night. Okay, I read that kind of porty, but whatever. I got up in the morning to walk to the kitchen and found that old portrait hanging up in the exact same spot in which I had removed it from, but no sign of the family photo I had replaced it with. I did a bit of searching around the place without any luck, so I asked Anna and the kids about it, and they claimed that they knew nothing about it. But what really anchored me out was that when I went down to the cellar, I found the photo with its frame all smashed up on the floor. I immediately brought it to everyone's attention, but still no one admitted to the deed. I must admit that I flew off the handle a bit, and once again, Zoe and Daniel both ran, sobbing to their rooms again. Such disregard for my authority in my house will not be tolerated. I shouted at them as their little legs bolted up the stairs. Claire just sat in the living room, glued to the damn idiot box TV. Idiots of Gary's mod. Yeah. I replaced the frame for the Christmas photo and remounted it on the wall in the old lobby, once again discarding the old portrait in the cellar, but this time I locked the damn door and strung the key around my neck for safekeeping. It's the darnest thing. The next morning I got up to find the old portrait back on the wall again, and the Christmas photo was back in the cellar, all smashed up. How is that possible? Are there no extra keys cut for that door? And there sure as heck ain't a skeleton key for this place that I know of. I don't have any remaining spare frames, so I guess the old portrait stays where it is for now. I swear, sometimes I think that I'm losing my mind. Just because you are. 12th of February. The local sheriff dropped by today, asking questions about if we had seen anything unusual and if we had seen any suspicious-looking people out of character for the area. I told him that we hadn't. When I asked him what was wrong, he let slip that in the neighboring settlement, a whole bunch of people were found dead, ripped to shreds by some frenzied assailants, were his exact words. Aw, fuck. I moved my family out here to get away from that kind of shit. 14th of February. I found a clipping in the local paper about the murders in San Remi. 28 people dead. That's virtually the whole town, and demons from hell? What the fuck? They're either smoking some good ass crack over there, or the local God-fearing community has an overactive imagination with all the shit they're on. Oh my god. I finally got the energy and time to clear out the old desk and books from the room at the end of the hall, but I just couldn't get the door to budge open. The handle wouldn't turn, but no matter how hard I fucking pushed that bitch, it just wouldn't work. I got tired of fighting a losing battle, so I just put off the clean out of the room until later. Alright. San Raimi's directing this motherfucker. I did manage to get the other room cleaned out and kittied up. I kittied the room up with Claire's bed and furniture so she'll keep spending the night in her own room for the first time in the goddamn house. Daniel and Zoe are still sharing the same bed, but hell, at 6 and 8 years old, it's not like there's nothing going to be enough room on the same mattress for them. And in another for first in this house, Anna and I made love this morning. I think she has finally come around about the move. Although I do think that that the murders in the San Raimi have left her shaken a little. Too close to home, I think, and the thought of men, women, and children being mutilated like that chills me to the bone. People can be fucking animals sometimes. February 15th. I woke up last night with a fright. Standing over Anna and I in our bedroom was Claire. She said that she couldn't sleep, that a man kept sitting on the end of her bed looking out of the window. I told her that she was just dreaming, damn it. She's 11 years old and should be able to differentiate between fantasy and reality by now. I walked her back to her bed, tucked her in, and sang her back to sleep. I was still half asleep at the time, but I could have sworn that the stuck door at the end of the hall was open just a crack on the way to Claire's room. It didn't occur to me at the time to check on it again. All I wanted to do was go back to bed. 18th of February. Hold up. Like, you're fucking tripping, man. Like, what do you... like, the first thought that would have ran through my head is that there's an intruder in the house. Let's get the fucking pistol. Like, someone just broke and entered into my fucking house in the middle of the night while my family's asleep. And my daughter's, like, seeing fucking wackos walking around the fucking house, peeping through the windows like it's just another night or something. I don't know. 18th of February. More murders. Local news broadcasts mentioned that more people were mysteriously killed. Now a town further away had been hit and virtually wiped out, just as San Raimi had. What is going on in this world for shit like this to happen? Out here in all places. I didn't mention anything to Anna about the new lot of murders. There's no use in making her any jitterier than she already is. Besides, now she's finally relaxed a little, we're going to get some sort of semblance of normality back into our sex lives. If anything, she's become a little more energetic and enthusiastic than she has ever been when it comes to that. Claire is still having problems sleeping. She keeps talking of a man sitting on her bed and looking out through the back through her window. Anna and I are taking turns at babying her back to sleep each night. Anna is sure that with time she'll get used to her room and it won't be an issue for much longer. I certainly hope she's right. I could do with an uninterrupted sleep for the first time in a while, especially with the amount of work I am doing during the day on the ranch. I need as much sleep as I can to save my energy for dealing with the damn horses. They seem very spooked of late, a pattern of stubbornness that I can do without. Okay. 23rd of February. The sunset was amazing today. It was the most beautiful pinkish red sky that I have ever seen. Anna and I sat on the front doorstep and toasted it with a couple of glasses of Chardonnay. Simply stunning. Pinkies up. 24th of February. The damn door just won't move. I've tried oiling it, removing the latching, chiseling the frame, and even kicking the fucking thing down. I'm getting over it very quickly. I'm this close to scaling the outside wall to break a window just to climb the fuck in. Claire has taken a turn for the worse. Even though she is not complaining about her mysterious man on the bed, she has basically shut down. The most conversation that I can get out of her is an occasional grunt, and she spends most of the day sitting in front of the television when she is not in school. She always looks so tired and unwell. If this continues for much longer, I'm going to have to take her to see a doctor. 26. New hunter, 500 dead. This is very concerning. These murders are not slowing up. If anything, they are increasing at an exponential rate. Police have no further information other than the assailants possibly being of some sort of satanic cult. It all sounds rather vague to me. I know it's selfish of me, but the only positive thing to come from this is that the spree of murder seems to be moving away from us here, but I know that doesn't make us safe. I cut the clipping out of the newspaper and put it with the other I had from the original San Raimi killings. I don't know why I have this morbid fascination with these recent events. Maybe it's because it's so close to home. Something else that I have noticed of recently is that the daytime sky isn't as blue as it used to be. Almost purple in appearance at times. The sunsets of late are amazing though, but I am starting to miss the familiar blue hue of the daytime sky. I'm sorry, 500 people dead in this general small populated area. Like the fucking National Guard would be there. Everyone would, there'd be a big ass investigation here. Okay. 2nd of March. I spoke to Claire today and I got a semi-coherent response from her. It's the first sustainable conversation that I've had with her in quite a while. Anna noticed that her bed seemed undisturbed last night, almost as if she didn't sleep in it. Anna convinced me to buy a gun today. I am definitely not a gun person, which seems odd considering that I am running a virtual farm here. But for the protection of my family against these marauding killers, it seemed the only sane thing to do. I've heard numerous rumors about the killings that have been happening. People eviscerated and ripped limb from limb in their own house, out on the street and backyards, wherever they happened to be when attacked. I even heard that the attack left Palo Alto completely depopulated and the town literally painted in blood. I cannot even begin to imagine how this could happen, and I am even more surprised from the apparent complete lack of federal government response. No one can go within 10 miles of New Hunter without getting turned away by local law enforcement, so there's definitely some sort of investigation happening. March 5th. I woke up very early this morning because I thought I heard a noise coming from the end of the hall. I picked up the gun and cautiously stalked from room to room, checking on everybody. Daniel and Zoe were fast asleep, but imagine my surprise when I got to Claire's room. She wasn't asleep in her bed. In fact, she was as wide awake, sitting on the corner of her bed, just looking out of the window to the back field, as the man that she had mentioned. I approached her and put my hand on her head, which was soaked with an ice-cold sweat. She jumped startled with my presence and let out a shrill, high-pitched scream unlike anything I've ever heard before. All she could do was cowl away from me against the wall and scream loud as a banshee. The commotion woke everyone up, and soon I had Anna sprinting to my side in a dazed and frightened state. It took about 15 minutes to snap Claire out of whatever episode she had been having and return her to her normal state. There was a startling moment when I could have sworn that I saw a reflection in the glass of her window of someone moving behind me in the shadows. There just isn't something right about that room. We hustled Claire into Daniel and Zoe's room, where she spent the rest of the morning sleeping. Anna and I both decided that we would move Claire's belongings out of that room and let her sleep with her siblings indefinitely. It would be tight and stuffy for them, but Claire seemed more happy to hear the news of the move. March 11th. The news had just come in. Los Angeles and San Francisco are under siege from these marauding killers. I am speechless as I write this. Everyone has been huddled around the TV downstairs for hours, watching report after report of the events. It is being reported that there are thousands of people dead in just the space of a few hours. Anna has been trying to call her family in LA with no success. All lines of communication to the city seem to be down. I pray to God that they are okay. Information on their well-being is scarce, so all we have to go on at the moment is what we see on TV. The broadcasts are apparently under restrictions as to the content they could show due to the graphic nature of the images and the government stepping in and blocking certain footage. But the descriptions of some of these creatures is more than frightening. They are not human, we are being told. I went down to the local mall and bought a corkboard which I have set up in Claire's old bedroom. I've started clipping articles and pinning them up there. I still remain morbidly fascinated by these events. More frightened than fascinated, I suppose, but to know thy enemy is the first step to defeating thy enemy. Well, that's what I've been saying to Anna to justify my new hobby. Well, so... I mean, we're on the outskirts of LA then. Holy shit. Who would have guessed? We really are in the middle of nowhere. LA is a graveyard and San Francisco isn't much better off at the moment. Millions of lives lost. The president made a statement today, but it was all rhetoric about defending our way of life and making sure justice would be served. Just another way of saying that they are as scared and clueless on a course of action as we are. The military had been engaging these creatures for most of the day. From reports I've seen, we aren't faring so well. The casualty rate is ridiculously high, but all military press conferences I've seen have been of a positive nature. Hopefully this isn't the war propaganda machine turning. Anna received word that her brother Joe got out alive, but it doesn't look good for the rest of her family. Her parents were smack bang in the middle of LA, so even if they managed to start the exodus of the city, these creatures would have been on them in no time. This is insane. Am I dreaming? Fuck me. This man's whole life story is on here. March 16th, we nuked them. I can't fucking believe it. We actually dropped a nuke on them, on our own soil over residential land on the upper Pacific coast, after only one day of engaging the enemy. It's too early to know if it was effective, but just the realization of how completely worst case scenario that must be for this sort of action to be taken, well, it just boggles the mind. Anna's brother Joe's driving here. He's going to stay with us for a while. I'm going to set him up in Claire's old room. Hopefully he won't suffer the same adverse effects that she bore from that strange feeling room. But at this stage, considering what is happening, that room is the least of our worries. 17th of March. Well, we've just been advised that the nuke has not stemmed the flow of violence. In fact, I think the words that were used were completely ineffectual. We're being told that these things, which are being referred to as Exmortis, have virtually wiped out most of our towns, villages, and cities along the Pacific coast, and are heading up north, up into Canada, and back east to our other coast. We have been lucky in that these things started off around the area somewhere. People have been saying that Exmortis numbers when they initially hit San Remi were minute compared to the millions they now consist of. We were spared, but it won't be long before we see them coming back this way again. Oh Lord, please let us find a way of stopping these things before it comes to that. Joe arrived today. All he had was the clothes on his back and the car he came in. The stories he had to tell us were just dreadful. Even he only just managed to escape the maelstrom. Apparently he got a frantic, garbled phone call from his and Anna's father telling him to get out of the city immediately with no questions asked. He did exactly that, but he never heard from his parents again. All he could say was that his father sounded more scared than he had ever heard. He could hear his mother sobbing and praying in the background all through the call. Joe must have choked out the words, through tears at least a dozen times. At least they were together in the end. Anna has taken this all remarkably well. She was shuffling around the cellar this morning and emerged with an old Bible. She's never really been a big religious nut, but when I caught her sneaking into the bedside table drawer, she told me that having it close makes her feel better. I love her so much. March 18th. Something has Joe scared more than he was when he arrived. He won't talk about it, but he's adamant that he doesn't want to sleep in Claire's old room again. I have noticed that he's sporting some pretty vicious bruises on his face, arms, and ribs, which weren't there yesterday. When I asked him about them, he'd either change subject, ignore the line of questioning, or just pretend he didn't hear and go off on tangents. We've relocated to the living room as a temporary arrangement for now. 28th of March. It's official. Washington has fallen and Air Force One failed to make it off the tarmac before it was set upon. What hope is there left for us? Our military is all but wiped out. Everything we've thrown at them has failed, and now reports of Japan and China coming under siege. The mood here in the house is quite melancholy. It's almost like we've given up any hope of avoiding the apparently inevitable fate act before us, or set before us. We've been told at the current rate of advancement, and if the Exmortis follows an assumed course sweeping down the east coast and then back across the west towards us here, we only have another 3 weeks tops. Jesus, these fuckers like wiped out the whole world. They're going to wipe out the whole fucking world. Interesting. Where are these things coming from? How did they grow in such mammoth numbers in such a short time? But the $1 million what the fuck questions are, who are they and why are they doing this? I'm afraid that we won't live long enough to find these answers. Alright, let me take a swig of some water here because I am like frying my shit. Alright. 31st of March. New York has fallen. Millions upon millions more dead. The front on the east coast seems to be following the expected pattern at the moment, heading south down the coast while it's spreading the umbrella further west every day. I try to continue collecting as many news articles as possible. Press productions are particularly hard to come by at the moment, but we still have a steady trickle of information coming in, even if nearly all avenues of delivering it are stemmed. TV is down to only a couple of local channels. Suffice to say the word programming doesn't exist anymore. It's just a constant barrage of news and images of rampages across the world. April 14th. I still keep track of what's happening in other countries as much as possible, but as I have mentioned previously, information is getting much harder to come by as more and more countries are overrun. I've heard that we have earned some sort of a reprieve here. Apparently a major majority of the Exmortis have broken off and are headed south to swarm over the Southern American countries. As much as that takes some of the pressure off us here, as much as that takes some of the pressure off us here, there is still a smaller surge of creatures doubling back this way, probably to finish off the smaller communities. We remain on high alert, staying within close proximity to each other at all times. Anna is the last remaining optimist amongst us. I would have lost my mind a few weeks ago if it wasn't for her positive influence. With her every day that passes, they get closer, and I can feel my sanity slipping just a little more. April 18th. Electricity went out today. At least we had the forethought to stock up on batteries for the new essential items like flashlights. 23rd April. Anna spent most of today clearing out a lot of junk from the cellar to try and make a makeshift bomb shelter. A few creatures have been spotted and dashing across the open country only 50 miles from here, so while we are now in harm's way, the Exmortis must have been spread pretty thin in our locality. Anna is of the opinion that if they aren't in such great numbers around here, we might stand a chance if we hold up in the cellar. I am not so sure myself, but it is definitely a better option than just standing out in the open waiting to be slaughtered. Most of the local properties have purchased portable CB radios and air horns to alert neighbors of incursions. April 29th. People are getting jitterier by the day, it seems. There was a false alarm today at the Jackson house. As soon as we heard the air horn, we frantically rounded up the kids and huddled into the cellar, only to hear Bob's sheepish apology radioed across the CB. Dog, it was just the dog. I haven't laughed that hard in ages. In fact, I haven't laughed at all in ages. Poor old Bob Jackson was probably getting an earful from his wife. I'd hate to have been in his shoes today. May 12th. The Colbys are dead. They didn't even have time to get to their shelter. After a few hours of waiting anxiously in our cellar after the alarm, we broke radio silence to check on everyone's welfare. The Colbys were the only ones that didn't answer. Joe, Bob, and I geared up and drove up to the Colby house, and nothing could have prepared me for what we saw. Greg, Karen, and his kids were just torn to shreds. Karen's torso was strung out from the tree out back, and her legs were just a mutilated mess at the foot of the stump. We found bits of Greg scattered around his back porch, and the kids, oh god, the kids, the suffering they would have been subjected to. I am dry retching as I write this. No one deserves to go through that. And this, what can we expect? Will my own children, my own flesh and blood, end up the same way that the Colbys did? What kind of fate is that? Seeing this level of inhumanity firsthand has affected me more than anyone will ever know. 23rd of May. Since the Colbys' things have been pretty quiet, our provisions have started to get fairly scarce these last few days. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to hold out for. As much as I hated doing it for so many reasons, Joe and I had to return to the Colby house to raid their supplies. We managed to scavenge enough provisions to keep us going for another few weeks at least, but beyond that I am unsure what he will do. June 9th. It's almost been a month since the last alarm was sounded, but Joe claims to have heard some rather worrying news. This could all be hearsay, but he was told that this is purely the calm before the storm. Joe was told that further inland rather large horde of creatures has been slowly heading westwards. Over the past few nights I have noticed a distant buildup of strange clouds just hanging onto the edge of the horizon. I fear that we don't have much time left. I don't have much fucking breath left. Jesus Christ. June 13th. We're reading the whole fucking year. Nowhere to run and hide this time. The clouds on the eastern horizon have been getting larger since my last entry. The buildup of the creatures around that direction must be massive. The distant sound of thunder now permanently hangs in the air. I don't think hiding in the cellar is going to work this time around. The Exmortis are in a final sweep, and I don't think they will leave anyone's stone unturned. No time left, no hope. I can't stop thinking about the Colby family. Their faces twisted in painful screams as they were ripped to shreds. To make matters worse, our food supplies have just run out. Joe has offered to make a mad overnight dash to the old town center to raid some of the shops. I told him it was pointless. At the rate those clouds are approaching, they will be on us before he can get back in time. Food means nothing if you're not alive to enjoy it. But he went anyway. Joe, you fool. You will never get back in time. Thank goodness. He somehow, the last page has been ripped out of the diary. But he had enough time to write his fucking diary. Well, we know his whole family's dead because he's strung up in the fucking kitchen. His wife is here. But where are the kids? Okay. Most of the roofing here seems rather water damaged, however there's a section which appears to have been ripped rather violently. Clearly there is some kind of entity in this house that doesn't agree with my presence here. Nevertheless, the door just doesn't want to budge open. Let's go left. The scuffed up door on the left has a particularly pungent odor seeping out from the crack between it and the floor. Ooh. There's the kids. The blood-soaked sheet has been draped over the bodies of these dead children. If the Exmortis did this, who would have covered them with the sheet? Children, no matter how many times I bear witness to such inhumanities, I just can't get used to it. The Exmortis must have swept through here recently. The old mattress looks like it's been in this room for years. It currently serves as a rather pointless cushion for these poor souls in front of me. Something tells me the Exmortis didn't do this, because the Exmortis rips everybody to shreds. Like, the wife had a hole in her chest. He fucking blew, like, he fucking pulled out the barrel shotgun, and he put a hole through her chest. And I'm sure he did to these kids too, because they're covered in sheets, right? The Exmortis don't give a fuck. They're just inhumane, demonic creatures that are just like making a mess out of shit. But this is like a well set up stage because that guy did it. The dad killed the whole family out of I guess sparing them from what was to come, right? I mean, we saw he was strung up in the kitchen, so I guess he saved everybody from that, right? I mean, I feel like it was hinted at in that last section where he just couldn't bear the thought of something like what happened to his neighbors happened. So that is my take. I'm assuming that's what's going on here. A Zippo lighter rests on the floor in front of the bed. Okay, there's nothing else for us in here. Okay, there's GTFO. Right. There's a rather large wet patch on the floor at the entrance of this particular room. The source can probably be found behind this door. Okay. The ominous music here. The toilet is splattered with a small amount of blood. There's no point in reopening or opening the lid. What do I expect to find in there other than the obvious? There's a fair amount of blood on the floor here. Whoever it belongs to was probably dragged to the bathtub from the looks of it. Let's find out. Nothing. The bath is stained with blood of a recent kill, but whoever's blood this is no longer in the tub. Okay. It seems the water supply to this place is still functional. This tap seems to be working just fine. The glow of the occasional flash of lightning in the sky lights up the room. A set of pull-down blinds hang in front of these windows. Okay, bathroom time. The toilet is splattered with a small amount of blood. There's no point in opening the lid. Alright, let's open the lid. Okay, can we not open the lid? Okay, well that's disappointing. I was hoping that we would like find something locked inside the toilet, like a key or something, but I guess not. There's another door on the far end of the left wall of this corridor. I fucking knew it. The apparition I just saw was looking out this window. What could she have been looking at? All I can see is the scorched earth and the distant horizon. The blood of the little girl stains the wall and the floor here. She didn't even see it coming. I can still feel her melancholy presence in this room. Yeah, because I knew it. I knew they were all shot. Alright. It's a corkboard hanging on the wall here. It's covered in newspaper clippings of recent events. Probably right up until the press stopped running, at least. America at War. A newspaper clip titled Vatican Day City Devastation. Oh. We're gonna read the articles now. Alright. Vatican City Devastation. 11 p.m. Sunday, the words the Catholic and Christian communities of the world have never dreamed possible. We were echoed over the airwaves of every remaining radio station. Vatican City was in ruins. The Pope and his clergy were all dead. The last bastion of hope and religious faith that mankind had held up until that point drifted away with the clouds of the storm the Exmortis rode in on. In the days leading up to this devastation, the familiar images of the sky turning red as a precursor to the scourge's arrival became obvious. Rome and the Vatican prepared themselves as best as they could. Millions of Rome's locals flocked to the Vatican gates in the hope that the holiest landmark on earth would be the safest place from what they believed were the minions of Satan. At about 9 p.m. on Sunday, the clouds fell upon Rome, and it only took an hour before many millions of people were left slaughtered or trampled in the ensuing chaos. Even so soon after news of the Vatican falling, reports worldwide of mass suicides in the remaining untouched areas of Europe, Australasia, and Africa began flooding in. Mass denunciation of religions has begun. A world once so dominated by people of unwavering faith in their deities is now virtually stripped of any religion. Churches and other places of worship have been attacked and burned to the ground in London, Paris, Sydney, and Hong Kong. People caught praying are set upon by angry mobs, intent on displaying their anger of being cheated at for so long. The world has surely become a darker place. Yeah. Okay. Infantry mobilized. Martial law declared. Exmortis, Judgment Day. Exmortis, the mere mention of the name of these self-appointed executioners of humanity is enough to send a shiver down anyone's spine. There isn't a soul left among us that has an answer to this plague of genocide. Our police and army has crumbled and was put to death like lambs to the slaughter. Our families and loved ones have all been butchered. Our land, trees, and animals will and die under this new red sky. We are all familiar with the images of our major cities in ruin, gutted by this horde of demons and supernatural entities, whilst other countries looked on in shock and horror, yet confident in their own isolation from the cruel fate. But now reports of similar extinctions in China, Russia, and many European countries. This isn't the destruction of America, this is the extinction of mankind. This is Judgment Day. Major cities under siege. The cities of Los Angeles and San Francisco fell victim overnight to the recent human massacre phenomenon that has swept across rural towns in the past fortnight. There is an estimated body count of close to 300,000 people in both major cities as of last night. Washington is yet to respond to yet another massacre, as once again, citizens are left without answers as to the origin of the assailants that seem to be perpetrating whatever this hideous murdering spree. You get what I fucking mean. LA and San Francisco police are working frantically to combat the marauding menace in an attempt to prevent further metropolitan casualties. The deployment overnight of 1,500 officers and 100 federal agents has so far failed to halt the onslaught. Police sources indicate that they have suffered almost a 75% casualty rate thus far. It's like all fucked up when I open it, so it's a little hard to read. Like this one especially. Oh my god. Okay. File photo now, Hunter Town Hall. 500 killed as township of New Hunter burns. Surrounding rural communities of New Hunter are in shock today as it was revealed that an estimated 500 people were gruesomely killed by marauding assailants. Local enforcement authorities are adamant that the recent spate of murders is not on the increase and that the investigation I might not even read this. And that the investigation into two similar killings in surrounding towns is making valuable ground on a daily basis. Police have issued a statement claiming that all evidence points to a satanic cult. Eyewitness accounts have led police to further claim that men disguised in extremely lifelike Halloween costumes have been perpetrating these insidious murders. From all further accounts, these murders appear to not be gender, race, or specific, and there is no clear pattern or common method of execution. At this point, local authorities are being tight-tipped about the specific details of these murders. The families of the victims will be notified upon the seemingly mammoth job of identifying the bodies which were left strewn about the streets and houses of New Hunter. Residents in surrounding townships are asked to stay indoors after dark and are urged to not panic. America at war. Nukes fail to stop Exmortis. Okay. Assailants named. Police sources overnight have revealed the identity of the group responsible for the mass murders across central, western, and west coast states. Over the past month, the group identified as the Exmortis has been laying waste to every settlement, town, and city in its path. Scenes of unimaginable violence evil carnage have dominated television sets across the world. Early reports of this threat as being a satanic cult have since been dismissed after the more recent graphic images were leaked from the information-controlled archives within the federal government. The many thousands of assailants depicted in the new footage has led analysts to believe that the Exmortis is not of human origin. Inhuman speed, strength, and ferocity have led us to believe that these are creatures of unknown species and origin, not human or any animal that we know of. Exmortis Inhuman. Government spokesman Michael Geddes have confirmed the rumor and speculation over the nature of the Exmortis. We have evidence to support the recent notions that the horde we refer to as the Exmortis are indeed not of human origin. With limited scientific and analysts, we were able to perform on a captured sentient. We have determined that the creature is in fact out of any species that we are all familiar with. Further analysis is currently being undertaken. However, thus far we have made some startling observations of their behavior patterns and capabilities. The creatures tend to work together almost as if they are of one mind, so perfectly programmed to know the movements and intentions of each other that is quite unnerving. We have also observed the remarkable strength, agility, and speed of these creatures. Nothing comes even close to possessing these attributes to the degree that these creatures exhibit. Further to their physical abilities, we have also noted numerous supernatural aspects including telekinesis and mental projection. Japan and China demolished, millions more dead. Red sky approaching storm. Scientists claim that they are unsure as to why our sky has started turning red. It is no coincidence that the staining of the sky commenced with the emergence of the Exmortis threat, but the scientific community can find no explanation for the strange phenomenon. We are currently working on the theory that the strange cloud formations which follow the main front of the Exmortis assault is somehow linked to the reddening of our skies. The evidence that supports this theory is that the red sky phenomenon seems more concentrated around Exmortis' front and its wake. United Nations to force consolidated force. Today, the new head of the United Nations, I can't fucking read that, announced the consolidation of the remaining armies of the world in the last-ditch attempt to halt the advancing Exmortis scourge. We believe that the last chance of survival humanity has is to put aside our petty differences and work together to combat the greatest threat we as a race will ever face. Evidence communicated to us from the remaining splinters of the scientific community in the U.S. indicates to us that the creatures of the Exmortis are not indestructible. Physical harm can be brought upon these creatures to incapacitate them. The strength of the Exmortis comes from the insurmountable and seemingly endless numbers. We remain confident that a concise and concentrated strike against the main front of the Exmortis assault will halt their advance and allow us to push them back to the Asian nations. Bloodbath. UN war offensive backfires. The United Nations Consolidated World Army offensive against the main front of the Exmortis was declared a failure in the early hours of this morning. The Exmortis push into the Western Europe was halted for all of 6 hours, and UN forces launched the first of their planned take the battle to them assaults in an attempt to push the marauding demons back into Asia. It is estimated that a staggering 40% of the world army was lost in the initial hours of the attack. However, some advances were made in pushing the front back over the Italian border. The UN's controversial decision to use their armament of nuclear-tipped ICBMs appeared to pay off at 3:30 a.m. when numerous mushroom clouds were spotted on the horizon over the Swiss Alps. French and Russian bio divisions were immediately deployed to continue the pushback. However, the first sign of failure came at 5:45 a.m. when contact with ARD advanced recon divisions indicated 100% casualties of bio divisions. It took an hour before the front returned to the earlier eastern French line and the final order for retreat was given. A staggering overall loss of an estimated 89% of the world army forces is expected to be announced to the media once the United Nations Council assembles for an emergency debriefing later today. It was the bloodiest battle in the history of mankind. It can also be considered to be the fastest and the worst loss ever endured. Someone has scrawled no hope and what looks like blood. Let me just take a little bit of that. There's a key. There's a key hanging from the pin on the corkboard. I did not realize that at first because I was just, I guess, immersed in the story here. There's a lot to read, but I'm actually enjoying it despite my my bitching. But it's pretty cool. It really sets the tone and the mood, the environment. Okay, so we can't go that way. Alright, so we got a key And we have a lighter. We are done upstairs, I think, for now. So let's go back downstairs. Excuse me. Alright, we haven't gone in here. An assortment of children's clothes, coats, and jumpers hang in this closet. As much as I need a fresh set of clothes that aren't covered in blood, I doubt anything here fits me. Various metal and plastic coat hangers cling to the rod in the closet. A coat hanger saved my ass earlier, but I see no purpose in carrying one around with me now. Okay, what the fuck was the point of that coat hanger? And I completely forgot about it till like right now, because we have our inventory system on the right hand corner of the screen. And it's not there no more. So what did we use it for? I am like super fucking lost here. Did we use it to hotwire the car or something? Like the key not worked and we had to like Mickey Mouse rig it with the coat hanger or what? Yeah, whatever, I'm over it. On the top shelf here sits a small pile of knitted woolen blankets. I welcome the smell of mothballs over the scent of rotting flesh that seems to infect everything these days. Okay. Door to the closet is currently open. Nice observation. There's a toolbox on the floor here. It has a small padlock on it. Oh, and it's 3 numbers. Probably the numbers to that Sudoku puzzle that we gotta fucking solve. Jesus Christ. Can I just take a quick guess? Is it 666? No. Too easy? Not that easy? The door is somewhat dissimilar to the one on my right, but it seems to be in working order. Okay, so we gotta... We have a lighter. You know what? Hold on. It's too dark to see anything in the shaft. I better not push forward without knowing where I'm going. Whip that bitch out. Light it up. Did we just die?
I've tasted your soul. It is a beacon of light in a time of such darkness. Yours is a destiny I spent eternity engineering. My name is Savior. Pay reverence to my word.
Okay, I thought that was like an end screen because we fucking died, but nice try, bitch. I didn't fucking flinch for that one. It's tight and extremely claustrophobic in the shaft. It appears to be some kind of air conditioning or airflow duct. Thankfully, it's large enough for me to move through. The shaft takes a turn to the right further up ahead. Light streams into the crawl space through the vent. Beyond its haze lies another room, but I can't seem to make anything out from here. The vent is fastened to the wall too tightly to remove the screws with my fingers. So we gotta find a tool, like what's gonna be inside the toolbox upstairs, but we need a code. But to get the code, we gotta solve the Sudoku puzzle that I am really fucking dreading. And the reason why I'm dreading it is because I haven't really ever played Sudoku. So I'm about to just grind through this fucking thing here. Y'all get to watch me just like squint and make faces till I figure it out. Should I skip through it? I don't know. I might just leave this whole puzzle solving detective work in here just for the fuck of it. I don't know if I might edit it out. Alright, so let's see. Let's fucking deal with this shit, alright. Like I said, I've never really played this. I know you start from the top row, so let's look at the top. 3 blank blank 57 blank 491. Alright, I'm done. So there's numbers. The only numbers that I don't see on there are 2, 6, and 8. So now we gotta cross cancel them out, right? We gotta match through the bottom columns or rows, right? So top row, for example, top row column 2. So the numbers we're missing is 2, 6, and 8. So does the top row second column, does it have any of those 3 numbers that I just mentioned? 2, 6, and 8. It doesn't have any of them. Okay, so I'm gonna skip that one for now. So next one, top row column 3, it's got a 2 and an 8. So that means, oh, I figured one out. So this number is gonna be 6. Oh, I can't even type in it. Oh, I can. Okay, thank goodness. I was about to get fucking super frustrated. All right, so this is a 6. Now the placement of the 2 and 8, I don't fucking know. Okay, so here 2, 6, and 8. So we have a 6 here. So this could be the 8. We don't have an 8 here. So I think what you do now is you look at this box as a whole. 2, 6, and 8. We just added the 6, so, or 2 and 8. We no more mention of 6. We are done with 6 for now. So 2 and 8. Nothing here. Okay, so I guess we're done with that row for now. Next row. Oh my god, it's all blank. It's missing every number 1 through 9. Alright, so we can peacefully take out 5, 3, 4, and 9. Okay, we're gonna skip this column. 6 to 6, 7 to 8, 4. Okay, this is missing 1, 3, 5, and 9. So now what you can do, actually no. Yeah, 1, 3, 5, and 9. So now we look at this box right here and find those missing numbers. So 1, 3, 5, and 9. So then it's gonna be 9. Yeah, I'm figuring it out one by one. Oh my god, it's gonna take me a fucking while. I might skip through it. I might edit this part out just for the sake of timing. Okay. I got the code. Well, I'm already fucking here. I'm gonna finish the whole goddamn thing. Well, anyways, this is gonna have to be 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. I got my code. This is the code to the combination. So it's 831. But I'm gonna finish the whole puzzle because I'm already here. Why not? I'm not gonna skimp out. So now for this one, we're missing. Actually, let's go right here. We got 1. So this is. Oh, it's 1. So there's 1, and this one's missing 6. Okay. Let's go here. This one we're missing numbers 6 and 7. We already got a 6 here, so this is going to be 7. Making this one, I don't know if this one's going to be 6, but yeah, it has to be 6. Okay, this one's missing 4 and 9. So 4, It's already got a 9, so this is 4. That means this one's 9. And that means this one's 1. That means this one is 7. And this one must be 5. Oh, well, holy shit, that looks pretty good to me. Not bad for an amateur, if I do say so myself. Well, fucking Bobby LaFleur just gave me a fucking compliment, and I feel fucking, I didn't even have to do this shit. I already had my combination was 831, but I appreciate Bobby LaFleur's words here. All right, let's go back. 831. Nope. What? Okay. 831. 8, 3, and 1. I feel like such a baddie right now. Give me my fucking screwdriver. Of course. Of course. I can go in here and go unscrew this bullshit. Thank goodness. Alright. Before I go through that, I gotta take a quick pause. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Let me just take a quick swig. I'm all out of water. Hopefully there's no more reading. Let's go through. Oh. A body of a man is slumped over the table. From here, it looks like a self-inflicted gun wound did the damage. As I suspected, he killed his whole family, and he killed everybody else. Well, I thought the guy hanging in the other room was him, but that might be his Charlie or whatever his name was. His uncle, brother, cousin, whatever. A bloody gun lies on the table next to the corpse. It appears to be the weapon he used to take his own life. The gun is loaded with 5 bullets. Oh, I get to keep it. And it looks to be like a Colt Python. I got the exact same one. Fucking beautiful piece of jewelry. Powerful. This urn is filled with what I assume to be the ashes of a former resident here. Charles is engraved on its exterior. Okay. The overhead lights used to be electrical, but have since been converted to house small candles since the grid went out, I presume. Is that it? Okay, we're going outside. The rear of this place looks as torn up as the front does. One hell of a horde of creatures must have torn this place up in a frenzy recently. A set of stairs lead back up to the grisly scene in the kitchen. Okay, well, we're going down here. The darkness of the cellar sends a chill up my spine. There's a set of stairs that lead down into the shadows. It's a pile of cardboard boxes filled with clothing, heirlooms, and other generally uninteresting items. Someone was preparing to spend a lot of time down here. These books look much older than the... Oh, it's another fucking book! Virus Hostilis Exmortis, Xavier Raham. Oh, this one's not as long. What? Heard a noise. Okay. I should have saved that. Well, I got another water bottle next to me, so. My dear reader, many years have passed since I cast my thoughts to the memories of my demons, for my story is one of captive torment, years of tortured labor to stay one step ahead of the constant threat of lunacy. Indeed, I pain to recall the torment endured for those years around the end of my young daughter Gwen's life, for she was lost to my blade, and it pains me deeply, however, as much as my hand was forced by them. My captors, yes, the demons that haunted my house, the possession of my poor daughter, they turned her into a puppet, hold her soul for a ransom in return for the translation of the text titled The Book of Exmortis. Of course I did as they wanted, however I fear that such work will come with dire consequences, if not for I, then certainly for mankind. When they returned her to me for a mere minute, only to take her away from me again, I realized that Gwen was gone and never to return. I suppose in a way I wasn't killing my daughter, I was killing the demons that took hold of her. I digress. My purpose for penning this text is not to alleviate the pain memories I carry with me, nor is it to gain unwarranted sympathy for my eternal plight. I ultimately utilize this medium to serve a dire warning to whatever years of humanity we have as species have left on this earth. An unspeakable evil resides in the hills, not half a day's trek from my current abode here in Lokier Fields. I have witnessed firsthand the cruelty of the entities I have come to know as the Exmortis. I can only further elaborate on the threat these beings pose upon humanity. Once I have summarized the nature of the beast, to understand the history of one's enemy is to one step closer to salvation. The following is a summation of the Book of Exmortis. The Ancient Dominion War. In a time before life and light, corporeal beings did roam. Corporeal. I can't even read. Corporeal beings did roam our lands, ruling over those smaller and less powerful sentients. These fiends of great power and might were many in numbers, but their greed to exert their dominion over others saw these lands bathed in the permanent blood-stained hue of war. Many ancients and lesser sentients were slaughtered in the resulting conflicts. Eventually, only 3 ruling beings remained. The merciless Kefada. Lord Kefada held rule over a vast army of sentients, having single-handedly delivered the death blow to the majority of opposing ancients. His power was only exceeded by his hunger for total control and the effective purging of his enemies. The manipulator Vlay. While Lord Vlay's armies were by no means comparable in size to his opponents, they fought with a great ferocity and unwavering loyalty to his rule. It was the belief that he had a gift of influence over others that made it almost impossible to remove oneself from his service. He was considered the general's general. The tactician Azrael. Lord Azrael's armies were slightly smaller than those of Kefada's, and he was in no manner as influential as his brother Vlay. However, he was created as a ruler and a master tactician. If there was a way of turning the tide of victory against an aggressor, Azrael would carry it out effectively. The age-old war continued to rage on between the 3 remaining ancients, but the tide had turned in a final assault on Vlay's loyal armies. Azrael, being the master tactician, and realized that inevitable victory here leading to the eventual confrontation with Kefada's forces would result in defeat. Kefada's armies were numerous, and the only way for him to be defeated would be to work with Vlay against the greater enemy. In the wake of the destruction of Vlay's last bastion, Azrael had his brother captured, but instead of disposing of him, he asked of him to lead their consolidated armies against the mighty forces of Kefada. Vlay had no choice but to agree, and lead Azrael's armies he did. It was the bloodiest battle to have ever been fought, and eventually Lord Vlay plunged his sword deep into the heart of Kefada, his life force stolen from him. Kefada crumbled and perished. Vlay had won complete control of the Earth realm for Azrael to rule over. However, Lord Azrael had learnt from the history of the ancients before him and had decided to have Vlay destroyed before he could carry out the inevitable treacherous challenge to his rule. But what he did not account was the extent of Vlay's influence on his armies. Azrael was soon deposed from his throne, and Vlay destroyed his corporeal form to assume control of his new consolidated dominion. Emergence of Exmortis. Over many millennia, Lord Vlay ruled with an iron fist over all sentience. None would dare oppose his word, but in time his power of influence diminished, and a faction of lesser beings had his corporeal form destroyed and his ethereal form banished to roam the lands forever as an earthbound entity. Vlay diminished greatly in power and was doomed to be unable to physically affect the world around him. However, he still had many followers to which he spiritually combined his life force when they too were stripped of their corporeal form. A legion of Exmortis were born, and over the course of millions of years did it grow stronger and work towards regaining the power of influence and totalitarian control of the Earth realm. The Soul Bearers. Over the millions of years following Vlay's removal, the Earth took on a different look. The grounds turned green and lush with vegetation, while the sky was no longer stained with the blood of the ancient Dominion War. Strange beasts appeared on the lands and in the oceans, but the most significant of these creatures to emerge was man. For it seemed that these fragile beings possessed the gift. It was a gift that would grant them with great power over the roaming malevolent demons and spirits of the ancient world. Man was born with a soul. Over many thousands of years, man destroyed the remaining evil Earth realm sentients and entities. The scores of entities had survived the Earth's metamorphosis had been destroyed forever. But unbeknownst to man, the powerful Exmortis lay dormant, surviving through their strength in numbers and reveling in the wisdom of their ancient leader, Lord Vlay. The Hand of Death. The blood of 5 innocent soul-bearers marked with the symbols of the ancient Vlay has the power to bridge the gap between the ethereal plane of existence and the earth as dominated by man and beast today. The influenced man shall become the Hand, his soul the pathway and the source of strength for the demonic horde. The Book of Exmortis in its original Aramic form went on to detail the further ritualistic orientation of the link between our world and the spiritual plane described quite frequently as the ancient land. I did not put pen to paper against for the reproduction of the incantation of the Hand for fear of my tainted soul. Following the tragedy that was my daughter Gwen, I was felt compelled to continue my work looking for an answer to this evil. Spent day after day translating more and more ancient occult texts pertaining to the dark arts which surrounded these entities. For years I worked through each book of the archaic collection until I came across a precious find. Imagine my surprise when I located a text which could lead to the downfall of the dominion of Exmortis. It was a text that I dared not to translate whilst in the captivity of the isolated abode for fear of exposing to them my knowledge of this script titled Vetus Adversarius, translated the ancient adversary. Over time I worked to shake their attention. When finally I broke free, I fled the wilderness and returned to civilization, eventually relocating here to a beautiful Lokier Fields homestead. It was here that I began to unravel the work I feared I was forced to complete for the demonic Exmortis. I had managed to escape with one text that could aid in my pursuit to right the wrong that I had been an integral part of. Within the pages of the Vetus Adversaries, I had discovered a great many things. Most important of all is that the source of the demon's power was also their weakness, the man who will become the Hand. His soul is the path between the spirit world and our own. Sever the hand and the link is broken. From Vetus Adversarius. The door was unlocked by the blood of 5 protected by fiends, once dead, now alive, circled by blood from the dark ancient rite. The mortal man makes the ultimate sacrifice. A weapon of fire takes a 5th for its own, creating a path to where the dark spirits roam. His soul will pass through the ethereal gate. Beyond it lies his God-given fate. A dagger of faith shall sever the hand. Mortally pierced by the soul-bearing man, the light of the path cut off from the land, reducing the scorch to fire, ash, and sand. For many years I have studied this passage from every possible angle. I have noted that the blood of 5 is once again prominent in creating the link between our physical world and the spirit realm. But what of this mortal man's ultimate sacrifice? What of this dagger that the passage speaks of? And who is this man the script references? I cannot answer these questions, but I am certain all will become clear when the time is right. All I can do is make available the tools required for our Savior to rid the land of this plague when it inevitably comes to be. I know now that this is my purpose in what little years of life I have remaining. Now more than ever I believe that within our faith we will find the answer. The circle of life, portal to the spirit realm by an act of ultimate sacrifice involving the use of the weapon of fire. AEFMA. Great, so this is another puzzle I'm about to fucking brute force at the end, I bet. Okay. Nope. Alright, the large polymer bottle on the ground here is empty, but from the smell of it, it probably was once filled with petroleum. Nice foundation work. I'm glad I forked out the dollars to have my old house done by professionals. Ha, not that it really matters much now. Oh wait, I'm the guy. So am I the bad guy again? Just like in the last one? Another cardboard box slides open to my right. This one is filled with cables and various electronic devices. All of these are useless to me unless the power is magically restored. A pile of old and tattered books sits both on the floor and on the table to my right. There's nothing much of interest in here from a quick glance through their spines. A pile of old and tattered books sits both on the floor and the table to my right. There's nothing much of interest in here from a quick glance through their spines. A battery-powered CB radio sits on the table against the wall. Oh. think these are the CB recordings that were mentioned at the start of the game. Okay. It's not much, but okay. A hot water tank and a gas cylinder set at the far end of the cellar. Unfortunately, a warm shower is out of the question as both units are no longer functional. Pipes of all sizes run rather unelegantly along the roof here. Looks like some unplanned additions to the amenities have been made over time. I'm glad I forked out the dollars to have my old house done by this professionals. So then, who the fuck am I? I can't remember, like, the little diary that I read earlier no more. Nope, stop it. Okay, I still have a key and a lighter. Oh shit, the Exmortis are getting closer. I don't have much time. I better get back in the house and figure out where to go from here quickly. Okay, let's go back upstairs. This looks like the door to the hallway. I can't use it at the moment as it seems to be wedged solid against the wooden plank. Okay. Back upstairs to that one room. Okay, well, we still have this fucking key. Does this key not... What is amiss here? Is there anything else I can click on? Can I tab like the last game? Now, why would you want to ruin a good game with the tab key cheat? So they fixed that really last one, huh? Alright, gotcha. Okay, is there something hidden in here? Okay, doesn't look like there's anything else left in the cellar. Though there should be, because isn't this where we were supposed to hide out anyways? Okay. Oh, I did not see this before. Okay. 14th of June. It is done. God may not exist as if he does. He's turned his back on my family, left us to an unimaginable fate, but I have cheated him. I did what had to be done to save my family from the same fate as the Colbys and no doubt the Jacksons. The Exmortis may have claimed everyone around us, but I have spared my family the terror and terrible pain. I had been up to most of the night. After making love to Anna for the last time, I left her sleeping in bed so I could stand watch at the window eyeing the approaching clouds. I knew they were coming for us. The distant sound of panicked air horns filled the night sky. It was going to be long before they would be on our front doorstep. I decided then and there, the first sign of light, I would take my beautiful wife and our 3 children's life before they could. At 5:30 a.m. I kissed Anna for the final time. She awoke with a smile, but then she spied the gun in my hands. She still pulled upright, but she was too late. I moved to the kid's bedroom to only find Daniel still asleep. I ran my fingers through his soft brown hair before shooting him once in the head. I moved towards the end room before I spotted Claire standing at the window in some kind of trance watching the clouds. I took aim, and before she could even react, I sprayed her blood on her old bedroom wall. Zoe, my little Zoe, it pained me the most to do this to her. I found her cowered in the corner of the bathroom crying, her little blue eyes out. I swung open the door, and when she saw it was me, she lit up like a Christmas tree. She cried and flung her arms around my legs, asking what was happening. She had thought the Exmortis had finally come for her. I told her not to worry and that she should wash her hands. When she turned back for the sink, that it was when I shot her. She slumped to the ground, but she was still breathing. No, I couldn't let her suffer. I dragged her to the bathtub and shot her again and again. My poor little Zoe let out her last breath and her last tear. I slumped into the corner and wept. I have lost everything and thought I did what was necessary. I am surely damned for eternity, for 4 innocents dead by my gun. I moved Zoe and Claire in with her brother and covered them with a sheet. I couldn't bear to see them like that anymore. I sit here now in the kitchen writing my last entry. This is it. I hear air horns blazing all around me now. The clouds are right on top of my house. I can hear her screams echoing across the land. Not all of them are human. I never dreamed the end would come like this. I can see a car coming over the hill in the distance. My God, it's Joe. He's still alive. But it makes no difference. Something has just battered open my front door. I can hear them coming for me. I have no time left. I've just barricaded the kitchen door. It should buy me enough time to take the final step. I'm sorry, Joe. If you read this and you happen to survive this day, please understand what I have done. The rest of this diary sits in the cupboard next to my bed. I hope you can forgive me, for it is now my time to embrace oblivion. I love you, Anna, Zoe, Daniel, and Claire. Some pretty fucking dark shit. Okay, I was wondering if reading that would trigger anything. This is written pretty good. I genuinely like everything that I've been reading. So as long as it is, it's good. Okay, let's leave here. So we still have a key. We just, I don't know what this key goes to exactly. Oh, because I unlocked that. With this dagger, sever the link and the demon horde will fall. Within your faith lies the answer. A strange-looking dagger was hidden inside the Bible. Within our faith, we will find the answer. It all makes sense now. I just got the fucking... That's that shit. Okay. Well, I still have the key. I'm assuming that was the key to that cupboard. The apparition of Xavier Raham stands in the doorway at the end of the hall. I better follow him quickly. The Exmortis are almost here.
Sacrifice.
A wooden chair sits in the middle of the ceremonial circle. I guess I am supposed to sit here, but what am I supposed to do? What is the sacrifice I have to make? Sacrifice is written in blood on the wall. What is the sacrifice I have to make? I don't have much time to figure it out. I don't want to sit there. Dry blood stains the floor in a circular pattern around the house, or the chair. Strange symbols set at equidistant points around the circle. This must be the portal. What What if I don't want to sit there? Oh! A weapon of fire. This gun has taken 4 different lives. Oh fuck, I have to take my own life with this gun to open the portal. That's the ultimate sacrifice. I'm the 5th innocent. No! Dominion. This is amazing. Never could I have imagined that a world such as this existed. There's just empty space as far as the eye can see. I can imagine spending eternity here. It's another strange beacon drifting in the distance. These boys need to be powered up and linked together before I can move onward. It appears to be some kind of beacon floating. Okay. In the strange side of the world, there is a familiar looking ring of symbols orbiting around the axis. Damn it. There we go, okay. It's fucking mashing everything. Oh, see, I fucking knew it. The final 2 beacons float like buoys drifting in the swell of the oceans. I know so well. Beyond this point lies my world, Earth, or what is left of it, I guess. This is the doorway back to the Earth realm, so this is how the Exmortis are recorporealizing and flooding across the planet. Well, here goes nothing. The symbols mean what was, what is, what will be. The last to read, Ancient Dominion. I don't know how I can read them, I just can. Maybe it's this place. Fuck me, what a trip. I don't know where I am, but I've somehow regained my physical form. The hair on my neck is standing on the end. This place feels inherently evil. A long dead corpse is slumped up against the wall. Empty shell casings rest in its lap. It must have been one hell of a last stand. What a way to go. A box half full with bullets sits next to the corpse. It appears that they are suitable for use in my gun. I better reload in case I run into trouble down here. Okay. Alright, here we go. The tunnel behind me appears to have recently fallen victim to a cave, and my only way out of here is to push ahead through the archway. Oh shit. What is this? I think I'm out of ammo. I fucked up. But infinite ammo, I guess. This has got to be the hand of the Exmortis. Bullets doesn't affect him. Everything I have. First the ceremony dagger and can't go. Stab his bitch ass. This has got to be the hand of the Exmortis. Yeah, stab him. Right in the back of his fucking neck. Human remains are scattered throughout the tunnel on both sides. I don't know how they got here, but it must have been one hell of a slaughter. Okay, the tunnel seems to stretch on forever into the darkness, but I have nothing left to fear. I've finished what I came here to do, and now I venture onwards into the unknown. Another tunnel stretches off into the darkness ahead. I have no idea where I am, and no way of telling how long this tunnel system goes for. Okay. A set of cement rock steps lead upwards over the crest. I feel a very faint breeze against my skin. I must be on the right path to getting out of wherever here is. The last set of stairs welcome to me with a stronger breeze flowing from the direction I was heading in. A very faint trace of light creeps over the crest here. I think I'm close to getting out of here finally. I finally found the exit, but a familiar figure blocks the doorway. It suddenly occurs to me that this is the entity I spoke to in the church. I've got so many questions for him.
Ah, Mr. Hannay. How good it is to see you again. Congratulations are definitely in order. You have accomplished something the combined forces of humanity could not. I must admit, when we last met in the church, I was unsure if you were the right person for the job. However, it seems my faith in you wasn't misplaced after all. Your actions have paved the way for a prosperous new age. Which reminds me, I must also remember to thank Xavier for his role in this. How is he, anyway? Still moaning about losing his little whore of a daughter? You soul-bearers. So complicated, yet once again I find myself surprised in the ease at which your kind can be manipulated. Much easier than my former brethren within the Exmortis. Why the look of surprise? Surely you must have had some suspicions that I, Lord Blay, was the one who set you upon this path. Calm now, child. My fellow Exmortis deposed me as their leader many eons ago. Wouldn't it be rather unwise to put myself in a position for the same inevitable treachery to take place? Only now do you realize I needed you to remove my enemies and clear the path for my return to rule over a world which has always been rightfully mine. And it certainly seems that you came through for me with flying colors. So, Mr. Hannay, for your role in this, I commend you. For your part in this, I applaud you. And for your help in this, I grant you a gift. A quick death.
Created by Ben Leffler, creator of the original one. Well, this one definitely improved upon the story. I think it was very intriguing, and I'm all for it. Actually, believe it or not, that's probably the best part about this one is the story. It's just, it just took on something else. As far as everything else, the first one is better. The first one is way better in every way possible. The only thing that sets this one apart from the first one is the change in story, but I personally prefer the eeriness and the spookiness of the first one. This one's more, I don't know. I don't have the right words for it. Well, I mean, that's it. Exmortis 2. This is a banger, but it's definitely not better than the first one. The first one is the shit. And this one definitely didn't improve upon everything that the first one had. But I actually think it kind of I feel like it kind of made things worse. There was more reading, way more exposition, way more. I mean, the environments just didn't feel as scary, I guess. Um, the first one felt more mysterious than this one. Um, Nevertheless, this is Exmortis 2. There's a third one apparently. I might end up playing that one as well, but yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comment section, and if you guys got recommendations on other games or indie horror games, I mean, just shoot them my way. But yeah, Exmortis 2. I'll see you guys in the next one. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you then.